Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
This morning, the Department of Veterans Affairs started their vaccine rollout, and two people were the first in line here in San Antonio, a doctor and an 81-year-old Navy veteran who's a resident of the VA Community Living Center.
That's right. This is just the beginning of a much larger plan. The VA tells us that they may not do a full-scale launch until next week. That's because of the challenges that come up when trying to schedule vaccinations. The VA says the first group to get vaccinations will include high-risk patients and staff. According to the VA, they were expecting to get 975 doses of the vaccine, but they actually got more than that. More than 2,000 doses were delivered.
Students at Livernia High School will have to stay home the rest of the week after the school switched to remote learning. The Livernia superintendent tells us the decision was made after a rise in positive COVID-19 cases. Superintendent Dr. Henley Cole says the campus has seen an increase in COVID-19 cases and those necessary quarantines that follow. In a statement, Cole said, quote, "We made the decision yesterday. Our high school was experiencing substantially greater percentages than our other campuses," end quote.
And San Antonio's NEISD tells us all basketball games and practices for middle schools and high schools have been put on hold. NEISD spokesperson Aubrey Chancellor tells us the move follows an increase in COVID-19 cases among NEISD basketball teams. The district hopes to start practicing again next month on January 4th.
Meanwhile, in Bexar County, Metro Health reported 1,359 new cases of coronavirus. 120 of those new COVID-19 patients were admitted to hospitals in just 24 hours. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says that is the highest number of hospital admissions in a single day since the pandemic began. 800 COVID-19 patients are now in our local hospitals. 270 people are in the ICU and 134 patients now on ventilators. Metro Health also says 6 more people have died after contracting the virus.
And an incredibly somber moment in Washington, D.C. The Washington National Cathedral rang its bells 300 times, a gesture honoring the 300,000 people who have died from COVID-19. The United States passed the milestone this week, according to tracking data from Johns Hopkins University. And a record 112,000 people still in the hospital across the country with COVID-19. Cases and deaths also on the rise. But as ABC's Rena Roy reports, there is new hope as we near emergency authorization for a second vaccine, this time for Moderna. The FDA releasing its official review and finding it is highly effective.
One vaccine out and another likely on the way. A light at the end of the tunnel 9 months into this pandemic.
I am very hopeful. That I have to tell you, every time I look at the data, every time I see new data, I am more and more impressed at both of these vaccines.
An FDA advisory committee is set to vote on emergency use authorization of Moderna's vaccine Thursday. And if it gets the official green light from there, 6 million doses could be distributed next week. Thousands of healthcare workers across the country have already gotten the Pfizer vaccine, and more shipments are still rolling out.
That moment that I can just embrace my kids and just give them the biggest hug I can possibly give them, I'll probably just cry my eyes out.
Unlike Pfizer, Moderna's vaccine does not need to be stored in ultra-cold freezers, and it will only be authorized for people 18 and older versus Pfizer's, which is for age 16 and up. Moderna's is believed to be nearly 95% effective, a sign of hope as the coronavirus rages across the country. Last week was the deadliest since the pandemic began, and the U.S. death toll keeps rising with more than 3,000 dying Tuesday alone, according to the COVID tracking project. Mary Helen Lopez Garcia of Grand Prairie, Texas, lost her sister and brother-in-law, both beloved teachers.
So they were holding hands before they started to remove them from the intubation. They died within 1 minute of each other.
In California, 60 morgue trucks were ordered on standby, the state activating its mass fatality program, preparing for what officials think might be the worst days yet.
We're going through perhaps the most intense and urgent moment since the beginning of this pandemic.
Now, because most Americans won't be vaccinated for months, experts are urging people to still be very careful by continuing to social distance and wearing a mask. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And a reminder, we're answering more of your questions tonight during another live stream. It's the final discussion in a series we've been doing for the past few weeks, all aimed at addressing your COVID-19 concerns. Tonight, Steve Spriester and Isis Romero will host experts from Trinity University to discuss and answer your questions about medicine, spirituality, and mental health during this holiday season. The live stream will begin during the news at 6, then continue on KSAT.com, our newsreader app, and KSAT TV streaming platforms. You can submit your questions for tonight's live stream on our website.
Well, they tried everything, but firefighters in Olmos Park were not able to save a home from destruction.
A fire broke out this morning in that home in the 100 block of Paloma near McCullough Street. As Katrina Weber reports, the flames and smoke were not the only cause for concern.
Smoke that could be seen for miles poured out of this home as Olmos Park firefighters, with help from Alamo Heights and Terrell Hills, poured water onto it. The fire broke out after 8 this morning inside the home on Paloma Drive near McCullough, then broke through the roof. For more than an hour, put up a tough battle.
It's my understanding we have wood ceilings inside right now, so that being a combustible, it being in the attic, you're going to have insulation, things of that nature.
Every time it seemed they had the fire out, it would spring to life again, doing more damage. While the flames and smoke that were coming out of this house were a big concern for firefighters, at one point they were more concerned with what was inside that house, rounds of live ammunition.
We can hear sounds of ammunition going off. As you know, it's pretty popular and common for residents to have ammunition. We did back out and we assumed a defensive posture.
The people who live here were out at the time, but returned in the middle of it all.
Obviously, a devastating loss for the residents in our community.
Everyone eventually realizing it was a battle that firefighters couldn't win. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police have now identified the man who died after crashing into a tanker truck on the south side. Officers tell us 44-year-old Angel Bazatar was driving on Highway 281 south at 1 this morning when he hit the back of an 18-wheeler turning left out of a refinery on Roosevelt Avenue. Investigators say firefighters had to cut him out of his truck, and he was taken to BAMC, where he later died.
This noon, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office still searching for a driver who hit and killed a man on northeast Bexar County overnight. All this happening at the intersection of Winsford and Oldham around 9:30 last night. Deputies tell us they tried to perform CPR on the man when they arrived, but he was pronounced dead on the scene. Deputies also tell us they found one person who saw part of the crash. However, the witness was not able to give them a good enough description of the suspect's vehicle.
Former San Antonio Mayor Phil Hardberger is back at home after he suffered a mild heart attack on Monday. That's according to a spokesperson for the Phil Hardberger Park Conservancy. She tells us the community's thoughts and prayers are appreciated as he recovers.
Still a lot more coming up on the news at noon.
And some cold temperatures tonight. We're expecting a freeze here in San Antonio, then some changes by the end of the week. We have your forecast coming up.
Plus a recap of the Spurs' second preseason game and a look at the upcoming schedule.
Plus, businesses across the country have had to make changes during the pandemic, and small businesses were not immune. After the break, how one local business is adjusting in order to welcome holiday shoppers.
Was responding really good.
Like so many small businesses around the country, Carolina's has an online, easy-to-use shopping platform. They have everything from masks to bags, even aprons, but they're also thinking outside the box.
We're already known for doing like sort of a weekly video showing people what we brought in, and it was called That's the Tea Tuesday, and we would show everybody the things that we got in every Tuesday. So we kind of just utilized that and utilized the crowd that we had already had coming in.
They tell me their strong following online and their loyal customer base has kept them up and running, but this time of the year is crucial.
Christmas is really a make it or break kind of time for a lot of small businesses. You can either do very well or your doors can shut.
And they're adjusting accordingly.
We kind of geared up everyone to know that we were going to be opening Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 6. Just so they knew that they can come shop with us here in store if they wanted to, or if they wanted to catch us on our live sales during the week.
If you're out and about this holiday season and still shopping, they have a message for you.
Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Stay safe. Be respectful of the people working retail, the people that are trying to help you make your Christmas magical, even though there's a pandemic going on.
That's the attitude to have. Great story.
Yeah, no, they were the nicest family and so happy to talk. And I wish them the best in the holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and buy local, everybody. It's good weather now to be shopping, Justin. I mean, not this morning.
Not so much this morning, but right now, it feels good out there. Mid-50s. We're warming up quickly after this morning's very chilly start. The aquifer's down 0.2 of a foot to 661.4. And your pollen count, mold and mountain cedar are there today. Mountain cedar came up a little bit, but not a lot after last night's gusty winds. We're about to say goodbye to fall, hello to winter. What does the forecast bring? We'll take a look coming up.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Texas Med Clinic.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Texas Med Clinic on Southeast Military and Roosevelt.
Merry Christmas!
Okay, gentlemen, have you finished Christmas shopping? See how he prefaced it with the throat clear?
I don't think the girlfriend is watching. Hopefully she's doing work.
The answer is no.
The shopping will happen after the 2:30 cut-in.
Okay.
I got it strategized.
I didn't mean to call you out, but I kind of did.
No, it's okay. What about you, Justin?
I actually am done.
Wow.
And you kind of have to be, by the way, Max, because if you're ordering on Amazon.
No pressure. Oh, see, I'm going to get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're
He's
probably
got a little time.
Yeah.
Reminder, everybody else.
Yeah. Make it quick.
Get it done.
Interesting streak, guys. We just got this from the National Weather Service. June 1st to December 15th, as of yesterday, this was the fourth driest such period on record. We saw 6.73 inches during this period at San Antonio International Airport, and that ranks as the fourth driest stretch when you put that against the record books. And pretty impressive. It has been really dry this year. We know that. We could use some rain. There is not a whole lot in the forecast. And we look at the numbers, we're at 19.91 for the year, about 11 inches below average, which is a pretty huge deficit. Del Rio's at 11.42, about 7.75 inch there below average. And Austin's right about on average. They're at 33.52. They've done substantially better up there. Our rain chances this week, I wish I could tell you that there are some substantial rain chances. No, we have some small chances Friday and Saturday, and they're probably not going to amount to much. So we're still very much in this drought situation. We'll have the drought monitor come out tomorrow. We'll update you there. But man, we could use some rain. Nothing out there right now. 54 degrees. Northwesterly winds at about 10 miles per hour. Winds were certainly gusty overnight. Not so much anymore. We could see a few gusts up around 20 miles per hour today. 50 in Port Verde, 50 Bernie Stage, 54 Castroville, 51 right now at Stinson. As we zoom out some, 52 Kennedy, 49 still in Gonzales, and checking in at 55 in Del Rio. Dew points are low. They will climb as we get into Friday. It'll be another one of those situations where it's dry and then all of a sudden that moisture shoves back in very quickly. It will result in some cloud cover. Again, maybe a couple of showers. But we'll get a system coming through here Saturday morning and clears everything out again, and we're back in the dry air. So it's brief change there at the end of the week. Here's the setup. Most of Texas is pretty quiet at this point. We'll zoom out some. You can see there is a big area of low pressure here up across the Great Lakes. This is a huge snowmaker for the Northeast. Our next storm system, by the way, is still back out over the Pacific Northwest. But as you look at the snow right now, it's already starting to move into places like Pittsburgh, and Philly starting to see some snow now. This is going to stretch up towards New York, and some very heavy snow associated with this. Some of the computer models are hinting at a foot or more across parts of New York and Pennsylvania. So this is going to be a huge problem next couple of days. Just a heads up, may cause some travel issues down the line. Not that a lot of people are traveling right now, but just a heads up. Forecast. So we'll see sunny skies next couple days. As we get into Friday, the moisture does return and the cloud cover returns. Friday's probably a cloudy day. And then as we get into Saturday morning, a couple showers possible. I say it's probably going to be east of San Antonio, and it's not going to amount to much. And then by Saturday afternoon, we're clearing out, and we're going to salvage a pretty good weekend here, I think. Maybe a few clouds on Sunday. Temperatures today climb into the upper 50s for highs, and then fall off very quickly once the sun goes down into the 30s. Take a look at the low temperatures tomorrow morning. A light freeze here in San Antonio, 32, and then some 20s in the hill country. So just a reminder to cover some of those sensitive plants, bring the pets inside. It'll be chilly. Tomorrow, 63 Friday, cloudy, 68 on Saturday. We could see drizzle, maybe a few sprinkles here in San Antonio, a shower to the east of town. And then 67 Sunday. Winter officially begins, by the way, on Monday, guys.
Okay.
Wow. Well, it'll feel like it tomorrow morning, though. So
It will feel like
we'll
it,
take
yes.
it. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. All right. Almost time to talk to Spurs. They had their second tip-off of the preseason. We got even more a glimpse of this new-look team and the new-look rookie. We're going to break it down right after the break. And also, Cowboys, not an ideal season, but some positive news if you're Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff. We're going to explain.